Over. I'm interested to see because they were setting up around the breach quite a bit, but now that's gone. It's definitely going to be a different look. The look that's there for the side of FPX is one I'm always excited for. I think Berlin has to be a highlight. He is a nutcase. He's going to try weird stuff that you haven't seen before, unless you've been watching the Chinese region, in which case maybe you have. For now, though, a very aggressive defensive push all the way through A, looking to try and catch them on the flank, but I believe Life has spotted it.
He did. He was ready for that. Only peeked up the top, gave the info to Lysaurus. Good for one. The Sheriff, though, running low on ammo. Flash comes through. He won't dodge it. Now they're right on top of him. Easy trade for Heretics, but the site is claimed. FPX knew the ground they'd given up. Life up top looks to take it all the way onto Boo. And now they've got a foothold, an aggressive one that Heretics will have to fight for. And they win their first duel.
Aya's still up there, though. They might not expect the second, but they're playing as a unit, moving as a pack. Leaving Berlin, who hasn't actually been spotted in the corner, but Wu lands the shot anyway. Leaving Autumn to try and hold on. Utility expended, needs to land the shots first, doesn't go his way, and well, he's not going to get a second chance. Pistol goes the way of Heretics.
Yeah, you really see them sticking as a blob, whether it's the A main push to start this off in the defense to that ultimate, but he's only got one orb on the board, so it'll be a while before
that's one of the most fun things about this map, is what you can do with the Bladestorm. Like, you can literally jump off the map and go for kills. Yeah. That's some of the crazy stuff we've seen. I think Smoggy was doing that over on EDG. But now, though, I mean, he was just looking for those early fights. It seems more spread from the attack side. Maybe an attempt to just collect some orbs, potentially look for a plant. You can't really have too many expectations from a round like this, and they're playing it very safe. But I do think that that dimensional drift is a huge part of what they're going to be going for. Site control, a big part of their game plan, but also it just allows Life to go crazy, and that's something that genuinely, he's one of the most terrifying duelists in the whole tournament, because he is, as said, just a little bit insane.
I wonder if we'll see this continue. Much more passive hold over B. It was the same in the pistol for Boo, but his teammates were pushing A that time. Now, well, he has actually shifted into a slightly more aggressive position. Could be in trouble. Smoke used, though, to back out, concede the space, and with that, FPX will find themselves a plant. Again, the idea from Heretics isn't to stop them in their tracks, it's to wait and retake it as a unit. Already finding one with the Outlaw. The players on backside might have a chance with the Classics catching them off guard. Decent damage to Benji.
How much they can get in terms of the kills, though. Not really playing alongside each other. A little bit further back for Autumn, and it makes this training quite a bit easier. One kill at least. Make things that little bit more costly, but you can see Rian's only having a pistol. It's not really going to force any rebuys for the next round, other than the player who was already going to purchase. And the left side of the map getting ready, pinging over onto the B site. It does seem, though, that Heretics have a decent idea. A very passive hold. Benji sitting back. Now, he should be able to clear at least some of the trips. Make sure that they're not going to be able to hold on to that ground. Although saying that, it seems like they're both still standing.
Yeah, there was a clear idea from Heretics to change their setup. Boo goes to the A site this round. Traps are here to try to catch these players as they make their way in or out of the site. But now the traps are down. Benji has been blitzed on, and with this FPX, able to fall back, playing a lot of players in main. They've lost their mid control, but that's not that big of a stress this late in the round. Main thing is keeping Life on the site and having the support to cover him as they cross. Even the TPUs to get out of there, and now standard post plants on a long range angle down an alleyway, already finding Mini Boo, and even if they smoke this one off, it's going to be hard to get this stuck all the way with a big swing. Gravwell keeps them back a moment, buys them time, but not quite enough.
Had some time maybe with family or friends just to try and counter the bigger problem, which was the burnout. For now, though, it seems like FPX are going to go straight for that middle control. Now, we've seen teams using, well, even them, using the Viper wall for the same purpose, but instead already both smokes utilized early in the round just to try and take this space.
Oh, Life is really committing to this. Decoy sent through a flash to start, and they're trying to catch a fight. Unfortunately, they have. It was Benji Fishy to take down Life and slow this push completely. The squad now trapped in by Ult coming in from Wu. Big play from Boo. He's caught Autumn off guard. Barely any ground to hold on to for FPX, and now down to nothing. Berlin, he's made it to the site. His sneak up through B main is successful. Unfortunately, he's got 4 opponents to take down and a reveal that's going to make him give it away. The steps definitely shown Heretics where he is, and well, I don't think he's getting away with this one. The crash finally gets him.
But could have been caught was Benji.
Yeah, and he hit his shot. Simple as that. Mini Boo, free kill,
God,
and he's dashed right out.
That dart caught everyone. It caught everyone.
That dart caught life as well. A shock dart sent through, picking off one, damage done, Berlin down to 62. FPX don't have a lot to work with here. Obviously, still the rifle on Aya, but the rest of the squad just with pistols, and well, they are going to need a big performance to make this one. It's not about winning it. It's about keeping that economy managed on the Team Heretic side. They can't have all 5 players carrying rifles through to the next round, and at least there's the first to fall. Miniboo with Woot and Rien super low. This could still be an okay round in terms of economy damage for the attackers.
Yeah, it does revolve. Maybe on a sneaky play from Autumn. He's making his way down mid. The problem is if his teammate falls, it would mean that they eventually start looking back in the other direction while the cam's going to do that anyway. Even still, the aggressive position of Boo means that a plant is going to be tough. And even still, they're going to walk back into a trip. So there really is just going to be so much information. Boo is just waiting for a mistake to be made. Utility trying to be cleared from Aya, but he is dead. Like, unless Boo makes a massive mistake, I don't think there's any way that Aya's going to survive.
No, of course not. It's not an angle you will usually clear, and not one that you can from the position he was in. Free for Boo. Even at the information with the trap being broken earlier, and obviously the steps were loud as can be. Autumn with a chance. There's one, and low HP on Rienz if he can isolate the fight, but he wants the rifle, and Benji's guarding it. 4-1. We need to see this attacking side find the solutions pretty soon, and now this is the best time for it. A bunch of ultimates online, albeit Lysor and Berlin's not high impact, but the rifle's coming out.
They've tried to do the same again, like throw a couple of early smokes, but this is just a ruse. It's trying to sell the idea that they're going for the same play. The problem is there's been a change up from Heretics as well. They've now got the operator roaming in mid, so nobody else has moved. The orb being taken is definitely going to be heard as well. So again, like the idea was to try and sell some sort of fake, sell some sort of lurk, but thus far, that hasn't happened.
No success in that front whatsoever. Team Heretics with, you know, we mentioned the change-up in setup that we saw a few rounds ago where Benji came in to prevent this B-site push. You've not just got Benji, but Boo here as well. Both of these players, we've seen anchoring sites now committed to holding the angles. Decoy is the one that's sent through. It's not even going to be touched. They allow it to fade into insignificance. Trap, luckily, not going to catch anyone. Aya's able to destroy it in time, and they've claimed the space. Now the rotations come in from Heretics. Now they look to defend that B site or even to retake it, but little do they know the spike is going elsewhere. All they have to do on this site is buy time, and Aya's done a good job of that. Autumn might not be able to get out of here, but look at Lysor's position, sneaking up through mid, cutting this defense apart, and Autumn's even picked another.
It's a double dip, almost a triple dip. They sell an initial fake, throw it into it, what seems like a take of the beast.
Well, early on, there's a big fight for A main. Just like the pistol, Heretics want a triple push up. They've spotted the operator already, and the dash actually caught on the wall. That's going to cost Miniboo his life. The flash stopped him from being able to see exactly where he was dashing to. Well, a terrific start for FPX, and I think this was a response from Heretics to the last round. They played it blind, tried to rotate, assuming FPX were going to be as one-dimensional as they were a few rounds ago, and instead, they now go for the push to get the early info, walk straight into the op, pick is found, and FPX can now go back to that 2D play because, well, they've got the advantage. You're not going to have as many players rotating in.
They're pushing into what is almost at this stage a double sentinel. It's a bit of a gamble keeping both players here, even having a rotation out from the side of Woot as well, who has been hitting his shot so far. Boo even going to just be waiting behind, but it's almost just a peek out straight behind the utility. Boo goes down, Benji is still here, looking to try and fight on top of it. He almost gets two. The second player so desperately low, even knows that he's still on this corner. Just waiting for someone to try and swing around that corner. I think he's got him dead to rights, a second to his name. But that wraparound, they're waiting for it, they're trying to watch for it, and almost getting that information might just give the game away. Berlin still managing to fight back with another, putting thing into a 2 versus 2, but that time has been ticking all the way along. Benji looking to try and get things to half. He's succeeded, but with his teammate going down, it's now left all onto him, surrounded in the end, and FPX, well,
aggression to grab control so that you know where the hit's coming through. FPX might be waiting. This is a very good resurgence. A team that was 4-1 down with no answers, they've certainly started to fill in that worksheet.
And the bigger problem now is the economy. I will say there's a lot of ults that are either online or very close. Miniboo one away, Rien's one away. This round, on paper, seems easy, but if I've learned anything from Heretics is that Benji plays better with the Sheriff. Mark, who's to doubt the other players on this squad? Again, I feel like the darts and Rians have pinged up the entire team multiple times. I feel like FPX might have to go to the workshop and try and shoot those before they go off. Again though, FPX just taking things slow. They know that a round like this is likely to have weaknesses, likely to have pieces missing, so they don't really need to overface.
All they have to do is get towards this side as well. They have the pit if things start to go wrong, but unlikely to be used in a round where there's mostly weaker weapons. Instead, this ultimate, the dimensional drift is used. Get into the site, root out all these players, grab the info, go for a very aggressive peek. The flash even thrown through by Woot gets nothing, and the control swinging clearly in favor of FPX. A 5 versus 2. There'll be no pit used this round, I'll guarantee you of that. With a plant on the bridge, this round has become very difficult for Heretics to even find anything in. You're talking about economy damage at this point, and it's one man. Make that no man. Well, they took I think Gen G Sentinels didn't. Just earlier on.
Sure.
Face your fear.
But I think this group truly is terrifying from top to bottom, and I'm sure most people would put FPX at the bottom, but I'm not sure I do. Berlin already directly into the site. Loves his TPs, but it's a lot of damage done off the rip.
Yes, well, I is extremely low, but so too is Woot.
Oh, hello.
Crash still there to be used. Big backside push. Berlin holds the line for a moment, but then Woot on his low HP, the one to trade out, pick up the double. At least FPX scrambling.
Mid just to clear out that lurk. I think Rian's has had enough. He's like, he's going to be here. I'm going to check. But again, it's an opening left on that A site, which is going to be a plant. Viper's Pit available, and there's nothing that anyone can do to stop this, other than maybe Blind Hunter's Fury to try and deny the plant. That might slow them down a bit, and that is what he's going to go for. It's not hit.
It was close, but unfortunately it comes at the cost of his life, with Life himself being the one to grab that kill. Blade Storm, we just heard it activated by Miniboo. They're going to commit to this. And going through that Viper's Pit with a Blade Storm might be an advantage. Find him, drop the right click, and get it done. Flash out a little early. Life's going to get ahead of the Thrash, but not destroy it. Luckily, it's gone too deep. It's inside the ultimate itself. You're not going to be able to recover that, certainly not with any form of ease. Miniboo, I almost expected him to go up top. Instead, he's just running it through, finding one, but it's not the Viper. Now you're down to the Operator. That's not the right weapon for the job. The spray's good to drop the diffuser, and although Autumn falls, the time already too far gone, and they can't deal with
losing the lurk. Like, that was the moment you think, okay, the round's done.
Well, they had 2 lurks.
Yeah, and then they go hunting. Life again was the guy who got the kill on Rians.
Oh, no!
Oh, no. No, look away. Look away.
When you talk about Miniboo being self-critical, I hope he can let that one go. That's a rough one.
I hope other people can let that one go as well. I think that's going to be in a montage or two.
They only have pistols. At least they only have pistols this round.
Right.
It's not as bad as it could have been. That's rough, man. That is very rough. Yeah. FPX.
GB loves the phrase "from the top rope." I don't think that's what he meant.
From the mid rope, right down to the bottom. Well, 5-4, and it's a 5v4. With FPX having the lead without drawing blood themselves. They've got to be happy about that.
Berlin did get the kill.
Technically, it was given, but he wasn't too involved. It was by proxy.
No, it was just fear. He saw into Berlin's eyes. Maybe Miniboo has nightmares of Berlin in more ways than one.
Oh, wow.
Here we go. 4 players to try and find anything again. I feel like we've been saying this a lot. Just an attempt to do damage. And, wow, Woot's going to get one for free. That's not too bad. Trade eventually there from Aya. Keeping them honest. No ultimates if they needed them, but I don't think they will. This is now falling perfectly into place for the side. And a rough start. I feel like that might get to him. And he's going to go aggro. I think wanted to try and rectify things, but hey, FPX are meeting him.
They absolutely are. Look, with a guy like Life, we've seen this a couple of times. He's willing to play a little bit loose, a little bit crazy. Setting out the late lurk for Berlin. He's going to be covering the back lines where the traps from Cypher don't. And for Team Heretics, the same old thing. Group up, play this as a blob, move together. Smoke's online for Boo fairly soon. He's popping down his stars as we speak. But the time here is a big problem.
They've had it for a while. They could section things off. There you go. Space taken, but they have to deal with light.
They also have to be quick because Berlin's on the way up behind, and if he finds that space before they've claimed the site, this could be an absolute disaster. Problem is, denying this defuse is very difficult. Oh, the run through is good, and the shorty comes out for more!
Into not playing confidently, and I don't think anybody's managed to do that ever. And well, speaking of confidence, Autumn's coming into this round with the Viper attack side op. Actually, in fact, so is Aya.
Yeah, I mean, they've got extra credits. I have to assume there's a weapon on the floor in case things start to spiral out. This is the last round of the half, remember, and, well, Berlin's got enough credits to buy them a few spare rifles. So does Lysor. For FPX, well, 6 rounds in a row. No surprise to see them playing confident, and even in the last round, I feel like they had that hero play. But they also had Berlin coming up behind. If the play was slightly slower from Heretics, throwing out a lot of opportunities for themselves in the late round. Now it's going to be the same thing.
Read again.
Lysor mid lurk, play to B site, but again, Heretics, all the utils here, and they've got Rians this time.
That's it. His darts have been impressive, and he's got it online now. Trying to get that information, and it is eventually going to be denied. In fact, not catching anybody this time. The one time it would have been almost instant death for the side of this attack. They're taking the space, jumping up. Benji's found the first. Holding that line, but it's not clean. It's not pretty. Well, Aya's managed to take him down. Timer ticking and the spike still in an awkward spot. But again, he's always there, always behind. The timing's going to be everything, though, as Rians drops another. He's heard the steps of Minibu coming behind him. He's trying to catch this guy off guard instead, and now looks to switch back. That plant is just about going to be coming in time. And they've still got to worry about that flank.
Yeah, it's made its way up top now, and, well, it doesn't look like the flank's the main problem. Berlin's holding strong. Autumn's here to support, although he's lost his head. Now the flank going to be dealt with, but ammo is the main concern. 8.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it doesn't get much worse. And just look at already what's being attempted. You got the Viper screen down in case they needed to cover mid, but instead they've just TP'd right into it. Benji, though, has managed to catch the first player. I want to point out there was more than one. Berlin is still going, but it seems like Boo is very aware of the potential of further aggression. They are holding for this FPX squad.
Yep, making some pressure on A, but I'm not even sure if they're looking to commit. For FPX, though, it seems quite clear that there's about to be a hit on that side of the map. The steps, the noise, the utility is now over there. 3 players now stacked up, with Berlin left with the responsibility of hearing the steps if the rotations come through. And considering they killed Young on mid, they might start to go quite quickly around. There's a lot of pings here, though. Pings that certainly indicate they're suspicious of a player being around here, and they've caught Berlin. Okay, the snake in the grass dealt with, and Heretics, I think, are going to move into the B site. Yes, they are, and it's wide open.
Yeah, they've been methodical this round. I think they were very ready for that mid push, something that is attempted by FPX in a fair few rounds.
30 seconds left.
Watching it from multiple angles, and while now for the defense, they are going to need themselves a bit of a hero play. Wingman will be sent through. A little obstacle course for him to make it onto the site, but defense are already here. All 3 players looking for someone to make a mistake.
Well, perhaps Rians has. He faced into Lysor, who seems to be hungry for some kills. Already picking up 2. A damage done to Benji. This is workable. With Lysor down, the pressure falls on Autumn. He's had some big plays, big rounds, but it's a little tough to do in the pistol, surrounded on all sides, and Heretics
tempting in previous matches versus EDG, trying to jump off the map, use his ultimate to teleport across, cancel it, and then Shrouded step back onto the map, and then he got shot in the face. But the idea is there. It's just, if he can make that work, he's going to look like the greatest player ever. But this round, well, any kills would be nice, and any damage they can do. On the other side of things, as always, Heretics have got a couple of pistols that they can use as, well, in this case, lurkers, or to take more of a risk if needed.
Yeah, much more controlled early round from Heretics than what we saw from FPX in those first couple. Spread out, just looking to push and pull the map and get a sense of what they're up against on this defensive side. For FPX, The gamble on B, well, I'm not sure that it'll find value. That aggression you're seeing out of Heretics is only to find the orb, and then they're on the rotation back towards this site that's much more open. Just one man defending it, and Life is about to go through the smoke, and that will be the end of him. A site now open for the taking. A little bit of Cypher utility awaiting them, but no one to execute on the back of it.
No one there.
30
He can walk
left.
into every single one of those trips unless it catches him and pulls him off the map. I don't think that's going to be working. And I was about to say, surely at this point, if he hasn't realized it by now, we have a problem. For the rest of the players, it may genuinely just be a, well, I was going to say die to the spike, or, you know, there's other ways. Oh no, I tripped.
I have tripped and fallen. No. FPX, I think the spike is the likely play. And look to just punish anybody that gets aggressive.
If they catch someone, get an orb. The thing is, none of their ultimates are even remotely close. Lysor is the closest, and I don't think it's worth risking giving stuff over to the other side. So Boo is going to gamble. He wants to try and get himself a little closer. Only has a pistol to play with, so it's an orb for an orb. Not going to be the worst.
Challenge is a little bit more aggressive than what we saw from Heretics. Boo was constantly playing far back in Heaven, or Benji playing towards the spawn with his utility. Instead, Autumn is out looking for a fight.
Because they've got Thrash online. If he's not put into a better position, or if he's caught out, he is the only defender of this site, so that definitely could be an issue. I think also just playing on this side when there's a Gecko, because that is the normal route to send through Wingman to get you into the after plant. It's the common post plant that we see from a lot of teams. And I guess with Berlin now alongside him, it isn't so much of a risk. I think we've also seen a bit of utility on the other side of the map, so I think FPX at this point have a pretty decent idea. That doesn't necessarily mean that Heretics are going to stick to this. In fact, no, they're doubling back.
Some of these rounds are going to hinge on that mid lurk, and we've seen Benji sitting around this position, but only holding for the aggression. Not looking to get up in their faces, opening the door at least to cause some paranoia, but, well, FPX know there's nothing going on. Life has committed himself to holding down middle. FPX have a lot of utility on A. We saw this in the last round. The traps were there awaiting them. Although we'll have Thrash going through first, you've still got to avoid those traps. That's exactly what Minibu does. Updraft dash takes Heaven control, but no punish just yet there. Lysor eventually falls from the jump up. Minibu looks to be a thorn in their side. Up in Heaven, not just by himself, but with two players, make that nobody. Woot dies, and the fallback from Boo now leaves Minibu alone.
They've seen him. It seems like it. Lots of utility being expended, and he's isolated. And the aggression elsewhere hasn't succeeded either. Boo falls, puts the advantage with the defense. Rians and Benji. A little bit of an angle over the top, which might just give the game away. A nice shot from Rians, puts things back into a 2 versus 2. And for a moment, it looked like Ayung was going to try and jump around, but he's thought better of it. That time continuing to tick. Rians continuing to land every shot. High-tech mumbo-jumbo.
No.
Put a gun in his hand. And wow, they'll be hoping this time it's not the silver medal. Either way, that has wrecked the economy of FPX.
Yeah.
Ayung is going to be in the same position, trying to make that Guardian work. And to be fair, when he's had a hero rifle, there has been extra damage caused. There's no doubt about it. The rest left just onto pistols. I guess in that case, I'd probably be watching Lysor, because his share is fairly nasty. For the other side, though, you got Hunter's Fury, one away as well from a Cosmic Divide, which for the most part, it's not normally the most impactful, but when you're up against pistols, being able to section off an angle, if there's a stack, could be high priority. Instead, though, Heretics, again, they fall into this passive default. They are expecting aggression. They're expecting pushes, and to be fair, other than the mid push, no one's really moving.
Yeah, it's a slow play. And with 40 seconds left, that's when Heretics start to look somewhere else, start to move, and abandon those lurk catches. Well, if Berlin hadn't walked in with his back turned, I think that could have been a different fight. Instead, Minibu grabs the opening. It does spur them onto the B side where everyone's waiting, and it's Ayung taking 2 headshots at that with the Guardian. And they're in a bit of trouble jumping across that bridge because Ayung's still waiting. His 4th kill locked in already. And Benji Fishy left in an impossible situation. 3 players and Ayung looking for the ace. He's got it locked in.
I think most people were expecting a second. This group truly is terrifying. Life though, well, that's just absurd. He just tried something so risky, and he has walked into. Yep, that's the whole Heretics team.
That is everybody. Young might be in a position to get under that. I think it's just about going to catch him. We'll see. Yeah, he's had to break it as he makes his way through, and now they're aware. They're turning.
Would have made it if he was bold. That's all I'm saying. Another win for the bold gang.
Another win, the first win, let's say.
Wow.
Team Heretics, 4 versus 1 at this point. It seems to be locked in, but it's Young on the other side. I'm not certain it'll be an easy victory if he decides to go for it, but definitely one that seems locked in.
I believe.
Economy, a little shaky. And for the defensive side, I think it's better to just carry this weapon through to the next. They've made the right call, but that does put Team Heretics with a foot in the door.
Yeah, it sort of is. What's the desk was talking about? It's the aggressive plays either look amazing or they look like that. You try and flash through a smoke, the whole team is waiting on the other side, you get wrecked. It's going to happen. It's how this composition almost works for them. Like, you have yourself that solo initiator, and because of it, and they do this a lot, they play the double controller or even triple controller on a lot of maps, so you're very reliant on the Southern.
Yeah, relatively neck and neck. I mean, you can understand that last round, the early aggression. Sometimes you got to just throw in a little extra flair to your round, and if there's a lurker there, he's dead, most likely. But, well, there were 5 people ready to take the fight. For FPX, rotation comes through. Life now in position, ready to take this B fight. In fact, the decoy is sent straight through, and Life is awaited. They let the decoy run past, took the main man down, and now the advantage, well, actually quickly flips hands. Autumn making a fight for it. Boo, though, answers back up alongside Woot. A 2 versus 3, a retake needed for FPX. The spike planted relatively open. The Thrash online just in case, and there's not a lot to say for FPX in terms of their chances. They need picks, they need to get aggressive. At least they'll have the information to work with, but I don't know what that is going to get them. Maybe point the guns in the right direction. Little lurk around from Young. He's going to go for it, yeah. But find absolutely nothing. A firing squad waiting for him.
Yeah, Brian's there so clean with it at the end. The thing Heretics are doing well, and at least when it's versus the buy rounds, they're basically just grouping up. They're knowing that, okay, either we go for a direct take together, we have our trips to still give away the game, but also they're probably going to push. And as long as someone's playing anti-flash or looking the other way, a lot of what Life is going to be attempting isn't going to work. This setup is dirty. They've got a paranoia setup, a cam looking forward. They could also send a prowler through from the corner. This is an almost perfect trap if somebody walks into it, which they didn't. So now the rest of them are going to go hunting this guy with a Guardian. Young is gross.
He needs to stop buying the Vandal.
Yeah, waste.
There's no reason. It's 20 and 11. So many of those are Guardian kills. So many of those are one taps. 50 seconds on the clock. Spike's already made it to the B site. Planted as we speak. Woot, well, his Dizzy's gone. He's going to play aggressive. He's not going to recover that Dizzy up top instead. To try to disorientate the team. A defensive side with a flare of aggression. Benji's caught one on the flank, but there's a lot more coming. 20 HP left on Young. That'll limit his impact. No. Autumn, I thought he had something special up his sleeve, but just the one to be found. Still, though, a 2 versus 2. If Young had full HP, I might even favor them in this position. I might favor them still. A chance with both solo. 10 HP in the difference. Shock dart in. Rien's finding it.
Got that 4K. That was when we last saw something from him. Viper's Pit immediately put into play, trip alongside it, and it means that they're going to try and gamble elsewhere. Have 3 players towards the B site. Middle control will be held by Lysor, but once again, and no surprise, Heretics are taking their time.
Lysor is going to be pretty passive, extremely passive in fact, because you've got the trap sitting inside that Viper's Pit on A. You have 3 kill if they decide to push up, and even if they break it, you're going to have Autumn probably swinging on you right away, spraying a Phantom, no tracers, and you're already decayed massively. It's a huge bit of control to play with for this defensive side, allowing them to stack that B site. The only real concern is mid, and if pressure gets applied there, TP from Life, he's there to fight alongside Lysor, and they can take their duels. Heretics will find it hard to find a response, especially as they've pumped the brakes so heavily in this round. With 40 seconds left, still yet to really make any ground. Rien's considering the drone through A, making it look like this is where the play is coming in, and the hope being that the rotations do come through. Life is TP'd off B at least, so they found it an easier job on that side of the map. Oh, and the push through into heaven.
Leaving one player there. It's Berlin. He's going to be actually pinged immediately by the Dizzy, but it allows him to go back into position. Woot, though, defending his little bro. That means they're going to get into that after plant. Utility retrieved. The rest so far away. Ion, though, has pushed in on his own, and well, he's going to get double swinged for it. A little bit over-aggressive, a little bit individualistic, and because of that, the rest of his team are now still a man down, and they've got to be worried. There is the latest lurk on planet Earth from Benji. He's only just made the drop. I think it actually got heard by Autumn, so he's now waiting. That's another kill to their name, putting things back, but again, Rian's so clean, so confident in these late round scenarios. Autumn's just going to try and get in and defuse this, but actually, I was going to say maybe he wouldn't be pulled off, but I think he has been. The angle not being able to be kept, and eventually it's going to fall flat on its face. Another round where Rian's
60-degree angle, but because of that, these sites much more open. Isolated fight onto Berlin, site secured, plant in, time on their side, and Benji, yeah, he plays it super late, but that was what needed to happen. Otherwise, he just runs back out on mid. They obviously know he's there. They kill him. One less guy to deal with.
The danger now, 4 ultimates online for Heretics in a round that if they win, wow, it will put the economy of FPX in an awkward position. Their ultimates, some close, 1 or 2 online, but this is looking like a spot where Heretics might be able to just run away with it. And as said, this is a map that is pretty important for FPX to take. Heading into Bind up next. Miniboo, space taken. He's got the Thrash actually going in behind him. That will clear the back of the site and give them all the space they need.
Should even be able to get back over to recover that, but Woot, oh, picking up the kill onto Young. I don't think he's going to be going for Thrash. Instead, holding onto that control. Up close is Miniboo. Ready to take the fight. No one there to support him anymore, though Heretics fall back into much more passive positions. Miniboo's on his own to slow them down, to make it costly for FPX. Now there could be some trouble. The ult forces him out of position. He knows he was about to be revealed, but Lysor gets the kill. Now the aggression from Life. Flash. Should have another. There it is. Popped and ult completed. Not able to find anything. Sending the decoy through. Just buying the space. Keeping them back in the choke point as the defuse starts. Now he'll body block. Look to absorb those bullets for his teammate. They've killed Life. And now they need the diffuser. Looks like they'll get him just in time. With it ticking away, all they have to do is deny that defuse with the man's.
Him and Woot, the Turkish duo, up there at the top of the board.
And I think the smoke faded because when they put it up, I could be wrong, but I think they took a second to get towards it because they were cautious of any traps being there. With such a passive hold as well, like I saw them crouch walking into the smoke. An unfortunate one. With 12-9 on the board, Heretics on the cusp of victory. In a map they were 4-1 up in and then lost a streak of rounds, but Rienz is pulling them, kicking and screaming back into this series.
Yeah, it's going to sound harsh, but when you have initiators putting up this many numbers, sometimes your duelist can have a bad game. Like, it really just, it's so ridiculous how talented these 2 Turkish players can be.
Get out of my way.
And let's say it's been needed. Like, FPX have at no point looked out of this map. In fact, it looks like it was going to go dominantly in their favor at a stage, but the second they got onto this defense, it's been a round won by Ayung. And other than that, not a lot to write home about. Bladestorm in. Ayung also has the ult available, and Berlin's gone pushing. So is Autumn.
Yeah, they got all the control. They know it's an A-hit that's coming through. The thing is, Benji, oh, he doesn't react in time. The player on the side of his screen. Autumn's picked him up, and now the flank comes underway, or the quicker rotation through the vents. Young able to grab one, and it's Lysor's double. At least giving them a chance in this with low HP, the decay fading, but Boo still on 54. He'll have a tough time in closing this one out. Still stars to play with. Has his grab well, and that is going to be the port of call to start this one off. Buying him a little bit more time. A looky spam could even the odds. And indeed, they baited out immediately, aware that he's going to be trying something nasty like that. He needs to start spraying. He knows this could be being diffused, and they're waiting for just that. He's seen both. Now he knows it's not even half just yet. He's got a bit more time to play with 4 bullets, and not enough to take them down. The defuse will go across the line for FPX. They'll reach double digits, but they still need 2 more.
Yeah, I think 2 rounds the difference. 2 rounds is all they've had. But as we've seen, they're very good at streaking rounds together.
With these weaker weapons, I'm not expecting much. Woot, though, has the rifle and is able to grab himself at least the trade to start this one off. Moving towards the site, we'll see the plant come in from the wingman. Already mostly through. The spray's not quite landing, so they're able to fall back now. 2 rifles, 3. Well, make that 2 again. It's Boo and Benji Fishy holding the chances of this squad in their hands. They only have 2 chances to close this out, and this one, well, it's not quite their best opportunity with Boo tagged up, or well, decayed down by the nightfall. The defuse already underway. Here comes the shock dart lineup though. Gravwell already used to start this one off. Flank spotted as well. Lysor won't get a free kill, but with Boo falling, the numbers thin out. They dealt with flank, but they haven't dealt with the defuse, and the Hunter's Fury way too late. He'll get a tag, but that's all, and an ult expended.
Still having a Thrash available. Going to be something to play with, and definitely still wary of these aggressive pushes. For now, though, again, looking a lot more direct from the side of Heretics.
Well, it absolutely is. You saw Thrash put into the hand of Woot, and now sent out to find a victim. Drop. That was an interesting dash up top. Young in the perfect position to punish it. And now Benji, well, he's not going to get away with absolutely anything. They really want to fight for heaven for Vents, but they will get nothing. Heretics left out in the dirt. 12.
Here's all the players, all 5 in fact, are outside B.
Need that back.
Well, Heretics going for the same push-up on A, but seeing absolutely nothing this time. Going to be much quicker rotations going around, plugging the gap that's on middle, and mainly trying to support this B site. Unfortunately, they won't be there in time. Look who snuck into position, though. Boo. It's not a normal spot to be playing from, and they're not even going to clear it. They're not even looking this way. That's the spike right in front of him. He's letting it get half planted just in case he can find another kill, and not quite, but he does the damage. Lysor on 8 HP, but the advantage sits with FPX, and it's Lysor that's going to go forward to plant this spike, I believe uncontested, unless there's a crazy shock dart. There actually was! Rienz fires it in and takes him down! And Autumn and Berlin, now another man sent in to plant this spike, a death sentence most of the time. I believe another, oh, it's a reveal, in fact, not a shock this time. It was sent through, and it's caught the information. They know where FPX are holding this from. Autumn needs a big play, and only the one to be found. Berlin, 1 versus 2. And they're all going to be diffusing in that narrow little alleyway. If there is a chance, the spray might just work out, but they're trying to bait him into a fight. He sees they're not diffusing. He'll buy this time just a little bit further. In fact, the clock here could prove to be the biggest enemy for the side of Heretics as they start this diffuse yet again. The swing is in, but the shots don't land. FPX punish this time, and it's Heretics to push to 13. Rienz with a phenomenal round. That shock dart was perfect.
The traps might not even be an issue, really. It's just going to be if they can get into a post plant, which, hey, if you're running a Gecko, I feel like you should be able to do that, and they have been able to do that. Autumn already spotted. Boo already in position, ready with his lineups, just to try and be an absolute rat at the back of the site. And while this is maybe the scariest post plant the FPX are going to ever have to face into.
They might not even know what they're facing just yet. That's the scariest part. You see the stars down on the spike. The Gravwell to deny. Benji's been in this position quite a few times, more than a handful of times, but this time they're not checking it in time. Luckily, Lysor reacts, finds the kill. The defuse started, at least that's as far as Heretics know. Some kills come through, though. They reclaim the space. The Odin takes Lysor. The drop from Berlin is good. Able to at least find the one, and Rienz is incredibly low. Boo's caught up top. That's a big mistake. All he has to do now is root out Rienz and deal with Woot, but that's a big task halfway when Rienz swings in to close it out. 14-12. They pushed them to the limit, but Team Heretics take it across the line.
No, incredible performance from them in the end. It was a back and forth all the way through a map that we favored for FPX, a map that, as said, they looked incredibly good on, but ultimately the hero plays from the likes of Rienz were fantastic. Either way, still more to come. Bind up next after the break.